Hey guys, Ezilii here. Welcome to my latest project for Planet Zoo, Rolling Meadows Zoo. Welcome on in. Today we're going to start off with a tour. So my goal with this project is that it's an older zoo that does have some renovations going on. And we'll see that here shortly. We do have parking lots. One thing I would love would be to get some of the cars that we have in Planet Coaster into Planet Zoo. You'll see this in a time lapse where I create the basis of this parking lot. But through the advent of scooping up stuff and copying, we were able to make it really quick. So far in this zoo, there's only warthogs, but that's obviously going to change. I wanted to get an animal in real quick. We have our sign. Our sign also went through various things when we got here. We had some different lighting to use. I ended up using this lighting. I'm actually really excited for this project. I've recorded Planet Coaster quite a bit, and I just haven't bothered to edit it. And I told Stream today that, hey, I've got to actually edit this if you're ever going to want to see it. So here we are. So the idea is that this is the old administration building, probably some animal research, looking into what habitats, etc., etc., etc. Maybe some veterinary stuff might have occurred in there. And that this gate is the original gate to the property. And we left it here as kind of paying homage to bygone era, which is kind of hard to do if you're building everything new and old at the same time. It's quite difficult because everything, you're in one style of building and then you're in another. So this is the old admin building. I'm still not completely set on this trim, but it's working. I know that there's limestone stuff. You'll see it probably later, but it's much too big for the size of this building. It would be something for like the reptile house. But I think the classic red brick, like it's a red brick building. We've got our entryways with the fairy lights. Oh my goodness. I found those and I was definitely in love. People getting information, I guess. Which is really awesome to see them using the information booth as opposed to like the priority pass in Planet Coaster where they're like, priority passes are for chumps. Good old game logic. So incidentally, when I started this gate and this structure, I did not have these here. And I kind of need them because otherwise people won't enter our zoo. And I'm building on a corner that is far removed from the original entrance, which is way over there. I'm circling on the right side with the cursor. And I wanted it somewhere different. And then I remembered in Planet Coaster, we've got the scenario editor and we can make more stuff. And I came across the spawner over on stream. I was like, oh, interesting. It's just right here. Planet Coaster, you got to go into the scenario editor to get that spawner. So our new building, which is not finished yet, is under construction. New welcome center in 2019. Year's almost over. I was gonna maybe say 2020, but then I don't think I could wait that long to get an episode out to finish this. I'm also gonna have to take the path supports out, because in order for them to keep this working, they have to have access to it. But I figured it's a new building. Maybe they were trying to be environmentally friendly. They're trying to reduce their carbon footprint, but they need the space for administration, auditorium, for talks and lectures. Maybe some small exhibit space inside there. But the building itself is not complete. Got to put some windows in, got to do some trim work. And this is inspired from the building that I made for the community zoo. I liked it so much I wanted to recreate it, but kind of alter it slightly. This one is incidentally square, while the one in the community zoo is definitely not square. I threw together this little like cafe services place, restroom, some souvenirs. You know, employees gotta eat, you know. But at least it gives guests a place to, you know, use the restroom. Although, incidentally, no one stays long enough to be hungry. So, if you're really looking for franchise min-max, you probably don't have to have that right away. This is sandbox, so it doesn't really matter. And look at these cute little guys. Oh, I'm sorry. These aren't warthogs. These are aardvarks. Oh my gosh. Wow. Maybe I just haven't slept enough. Look at the little baby. Just look at the little baby. So little guys, they're excited, and now they're done. But we'll kick it into the time lapse and sit back and enjoy. And we'll talk to you through that and on the other side. Alrighty, welcome to the time lapse. So right now we're working on the park, and I'm using these 4-meter pieces, these wall pieces, to get a grid. Which, hey, if you have trouble with paths, learn how to use those grids. So when I started this park, or this zoo rather, I made the very conscious decision to not start or not have that entryway over on the other side of the map, because I wanted to kind of start in a corner or something. I don't know. I just wanted to be different. But so I moved it over to here. They have the spawner where people will spawn, and it's really awesome because you could place it in your zoo, but you do need gates, and I did conveniently forget a gate. But I decided that I would have them, since I'm in a parking lot, that I would make them spawn at a bus stop, and they would walk on into the zoo. So that's why there's a bus stop out there, because it's actually where our guests spawn. So unlike Planet Coaster, where most of us just rarely use an info booth because it it sells priority passes, and there's not a whole lot of challenge to it with priority passes. Although, I mean, it looks cool if you could have people standing in it and whatnot, and you just sell it for cheap. On some of the hard modes, it would be potentially a strategy to make an extra buck or two. I haven't played franchise other than the beta, But the info in it, when I unlocked it the one time, because I was having trouble researching, when I unlocked it the one time, it seemed to help guests figure what's out there, which I don't know if that's intent, but they certainly used the info booth. So I made sure that there were two. In this building, which I had built and then I took apart because I realized that the game was not snapping to the height that I wanted, and I couldn't get it back to the height. So I just tore it down and then rebuilt it. Now, granted, I know the game is going to give me a penalty for having that staff thing there, but I thought it looked cool. Like, you know, you could see employees there, they're working or not working in this case, because it's the staff room. Although one of the front rooms I did make, because there will eventually be two of these buildings, I did make a security office. So I guess that, I mean, it looks like something you would maybe have at the front of a zoo. I don't know. I just thought of it. I also, that little panel on the wall, if you put a wall piece in front of your electric or your water filtration system, it just shows the panel, and so your maintenance people can walk up to it and just interact with the panel. And I think it looks so much better. One thing that I did notice, though, is in Sandbox in the community zoo that I'm doing over on Twitch, that people always know that there's a generator there. And they always know that there's a staff building. Regardless of how much decor you have near it, or how many trees you have, or like fences. And it's just a simple radius. Which I think what we're going to do later on when we actually start to get deeper into the exhibits and deeper into the zoo, is I'll probably do a lot of centralized locations and then exhibits around it, kind of like a wagon wheel. I mean, it certainly won't look like a wheel. I'll make sure that it looks organic, I guess. But the community zoo, we do certainly have parts where we kind of need power right next to something. And we could totally disguise the power, but they just still know that it's there. I don't know. Maybe it's working as intended. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Frontier, if you're listening, that'd be good information. Although you probably said it somewhere and I haven't caught a VOD yet. So this front building, I halfway through it, I was like, wouldn't it be great if this was a wing instead of the central building? And so now we're building the old administration building, which gave way to the story that I had. So lately I've been playing a whole lot of roleplay, specifically with the Crew RP and Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay. And I've been very conscious of stories that I personally develop. Like in City Skylines, when I'm playing something, when I'm building a city, I'm telling a story how the city came about. All the times I've recorded Planet Coaster but never shared those recordings, I'm talking about how the park developed. So in this case, this is the old administration building. There's probably some office space in here. It's probably where they have an early veterinarian clinic. Maybe it's an early spot where they were producing meals for animals, having meetings. I would imagine that zoo administrators have meetings galore, maybe even with other zoos. There's probably a lot of meetings and a whole lot of meetings and even more meetings that don't solve anything besides make other meetings. I don't know, but you get the idea that this would be an office building. It's multi-purpose. And now the zoo is going to outgrow this need. And then that'll be the newer building that will probably be in the next episode, because this one already is running about 20-ish minutes. So I'll probably just put it in this one. And I like this roof. I am in love with this copper roof. I know I'm probably going to use the heck out of it. And it's going to be redundant, so I'm going to have to break that habit. But the roofs in this game with these different pitches are phenomenal. And I think just about every material has these various pitches. So for this, I was going like an older colonial. I imagine that Rolling Meadows Zoo is probably somewhere on the East Coast of the United States or North America in general. Could be in the Midwest, given that it's meadows. But it is set in a temperate climate. So if I were to let the seasons go through, we would actually have the seasons. And that was a nice still shot of the shape. And now I found these string lights, and I'm like, awesome, heck yes. It'll help me light up that and look kind of appropriate. And I'm blueprinting this. So I built this side. I'm blueprinting it. I'm getting it as close to where it should be. And I'm just going to slide it over to the other side. Kind of do a double take. Keep doing a double take. Ta-da! Done. And now we're going to relocate it. And I don't know why I wanted to make it face a corner, but I did. And I guess I'm glad that's the new building, which I actually built first. And I'm trying to line it up with a corner that's not quite lined up anyway. And so I lined it up, and now it's in its home. And I realized when I started to test things like, okay, can I make an exhibit and can guests spawn? Well, guess what? They didn't spawn over here because I didn't have these gates for them to enter the park or the zoo. So all of my work that I did, I have to retrofit to have these gates, which I think it came out okay. Like, I'm imagining these little small short walls, these half walls, as like a spot you would put something down. Maybe security is doing a search. Although when this is built, people probably weren't searched nearly as often as they are today in this day and age. Like, you go to a concert, you're gonna get patted down. You go to some convention. This past summer, I had to show my bag everywhere I went. And I mean, I get cool, okay, awesome. But what I learned is not to carry a bag. Just don't carry a bag. Just walk right on it. I even showed up late to PAX West. I showed up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the thing closes at 5. Just walked right on in because there was no line to get in. And I just took a lift. I didn't carry a bag with me. I had cash. I had my ID on me. That's it. And walked right on in and probably had the best experience at PAX ever because I didn't have all this crap. Anyway, this gate represents the old zoo. So this is a piece of history. This is a historical piece. And so the story is that when they started to revamp this entryway, because this gate you would walk right up. So like all the tiling, all the sidewalks are new. and they had these gates across the front and that fence around the property. But that gate, that is what's left, and that is to preserve it. But it's not functioning for anyone to have to wait to get into the property. And I'm doing one of my Planet Coaster tricks, build my own planters, sink them a little bit, throw some stuff in it. So far, I'm really liking this red brick. And I'm also liking the dry stone support, I think is what it's called. This is an excellent capstone. And I think it's great. So each one of these spots I left in the sidewalk is gonna get one of these guys. Now, I made a template or a blueprint. Unfortunately, you can't just flip it like design software. I'm like, oh yeah, it's the same shape but reverse. But I had all the pieces there, just nudge it into place, yeah? Pretty simple stuff. So then I used this stuff to kind of protect the lawn. I think in the end I have large trees here, but I don't think we actually see me do that. I just decided that I would do it and not record it. But here we're wrapping up towards the end of this episode, which is just the front. Man, I spent probably 40 hours on the front bits. Alrighty, until next time, my name is Ezilii. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. Episode 2, we're going to totally talk about the other parts. Until next time, happy building, happy zookeeping.